Insider presents Geek Speak with Matthew Harris and Meredith Lachlan. We cover entertainment, news, and tech with special guest appearances. So sit back and enjoy as we geek out together right now.
Well, hello everybody. This is Geek Speak with Meredith Lachlan and my co-chair Matthew Harris. Our special guest today is Raven Adams from As the Raven Dreams. He's a voiceover artist and storyteller. I'm going to drop this even though he's not on camera. Why? Because he's got a secret identity. Okay. Hi, Raven.
Hello. How are you doing this lovely day?
Doing well. So I had a really quick introduction, but I wanted to kind of let you introduce yourself, kind of let people know what you're doing, and then we're going to get right into it because this is Geek Insider. We love to get inside the geek.
All right. As you said, Raven Adams, more formally known as the Raven Dreams on my channel. I'm a voice actor / narrator. I've made it a point to narrate stories that I find interesting. A lot of them do fall into the scary category, but honestly, I prefer stories that just kind of make you think and, just kind of, like you said, get inside your head. I apologize. Allergies.
No problem.
So, like I said, I like to read the stories that are interesting. I've been told my channel is very similar to having somebody sit at a campfire and tell you a story, and that's, I guess, exactly what I go for. So that's who I am. I'm your friend that sits at the campfire, tells you the story, kind of makes you get that chill down your spine, and then we move on from there and make s'mores, I suppose.
Now, I actually went over to visit your site, and it's really cool. I mean, you have a lot of channels that you're kind of associated with, but you have a call out for stories. So is that something that you actively pursue? Is other people sending in your stories for you to read, or are a lot of these yours?
So most of my content actually does come from subreddits, specifically on topics like creepy encounters, glitch in the matrix, ghost stories, etc. I do actively pursue people if they have a story and ask them like, hey, can I use your story? Would you like to write a story if you have a personal experience? So yes, it is something I actually pursue. The content coming from others is the best way to do this.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say, it's a secret, but I have written a couple stories for my channel. I just don't attribute them to myself, unless it's a fiction story, in which case I put my name all over it.
Gotcha. And Glitch in the Matrix is one of my favorite subreddits. I had to quit haunting there too much, there and the Mandela Effect subreddit, because that's a deep rabbit hole that you can get suckered down. And I've written extensively on the Mandela Effect. I've covered it on my solo show multiple times. But how did you get started doing this podcast? Because I know you've been going almost a year now, correct?
I have. It'll be a year on December 9th, actually. How did I get started? So I don't have the most inspiring story other than I was bored one day. I needed something to take my mind off of the stress of everyday life, and I just kind of started doing it. Prior to having a channel, I was a huge fan of the narration creepypasta channels like Let's Read Your Maker, Mr. Creepypasta. I used to listen to them day in and day out whenever I did office work. So that's exactly how I started. It went from fan to creator in the end. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
That sounds right up Matthew's alley.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the stuff I love. And, we got started on the whole podcast thing because I just hated transcribing interviews. I would record them and then go and try to transcribe them for an article. And I was like, screw this. We have a YouTube channel. It's not being used. And then, come April, Meredith and I had already started Geek Speak going pretty good, but then the pandemic hit. And we started really focusing on the indie creators, whether these are the web series. We've met a lot of creative folks with web series, of course, writers, directors, actors, comic book artists and writers. And we've really just seen a lot of creativity happening over the last 8 months. Are you seeing, did you see an influx of more writing since the pandemic hit? People submitting more stories to you, or are you still having to go out and cultivate a lot of it yourself?
I personally still cultivate a lot of it, but there has absolutely been an influx in submissions. Even to just those subreddits, if you notice the numbers, like there are tons of stories posted every day now.
Yeah.
And I would say probably around that 8 month ago mark is whenever it started going crazy. A lot more time on people's hands, right? So
Exactly.
Now, I have to ask because, I mean, I have a Reddit account. I don't even know how many years I've been there. It's been quite a few. But I'm not that active because I didn't realize, or maybe because I need an app intervention, that there was kind of like that writing community / horror community over there. Reddit just seems kind of like one of those things where I don't think of that, and maybe I'm in the minority there. But what is the atmosphere like over there generally? When things are really humming.
generally it's pretty accepting. If things are going, if there's a lot of posts, a lot of people reading them, comments are usually very accepting, very heartwarming, heartwarming is the wrong word, wholesome, I guess I go with. They're friendly people. There have been issues in the past with certain subreddits, I won't name them, where there have been a bit of apprehension against the story writers and the narrators in the community. That's kind of gone to the wayside, but it's still an active thing. There were an issue with some narrators who were taking stories without permission or making money and not paying the authors that they were getting them from. Which does cause, like I said, for that apprehension. And unfortunately, it does trickle down to smaller channels like myself, where if I contact someone and they have had that experience, they kind of look at me in a negative light. Though as you said, you've seen my channel, I'm very much attributing everything to everybody. If they wrote it, they created it. I don't claim anything as my own if it's not mine. And I'm 100% permission. Always ask permission. Always get a hold of the authors. Always.
Yeah, it must be the groups that I used to be involved in, because for me it was always more like spam, like just drop your links and go. So
Yeah,
that interaction was something that I was definitely missing, and probably why I'm not there now.
That
great.
unfortunately
Just
still
you
does
needed
happen.
more social media.
I don't need any more social media. I told you I need an app intervention.
Now,
Well,
Raven,
go ahead.
what grab? I'm sorry. When you hit one of the subreddits, is it? Do you? Because myself, I catch myself in this a lot, where I'll start reading something, and if it's poorly written, the grammar, or not so much the grammar, but the punctuation, the spacing, all of that, I'll quit reading. Do you find yourself doing the same thing, or do you try to give them a chance to see if it's a story that'll fit with your audience?
So I've found the best way to handle that is if you start reading the story and it does kind of hit that lull where it's like, this is so terribly written, there's no punctuation, the words don't make sense. Scrolling down to the comments usually does it. If the top comment is someone saying, wow, that was a great story, I'll give it another chance. But if the top comments, or there's no comments, so they're just like, yeah, that happens. I'm like, all right, I'm going to move on to the next one. That does happen a lot, though.
Yeah, I had to, like I said, I used to go on the GITM, whatever, glitch in the matrix and the Mandela, and I haven't been going in quite some time because I was, just like Meredith was saying, the negative aspects. You'd see somebody post a possible glitch or a Mandela effect, and they would be getting attacked left, right, and center. Oh, this is stupid, blah, blah, blah. It's just your memory. That's always the one I hate. It's just your memory. We know that. We know that's what this says, but I'm going to have to check it back out, because that is where I've gotten a lot of show topics from as well, is Reddit. And you said, glitch is one of them. What were some of the other story ones, though, that you were saying? I wanted to jot those down. Sure.
So there's the paranormal subreddit. There's also one called The Truth Is Here, which is more of a grab bag of paranormal style. People have posted glitches there, cryptid encounters, UFO encounters. That one's a really popular one for the more broad category. My only warning on that is a lot of the people that post there take it very seriously. So they don't allow they're not as friendly, I suppose. They do have more of the attacking people, but the stories are really good. Just because, again, it's more of a grab bag. So yeah, there's Glitch in the Matrix, the paranormal. Creepy Encounters is more of like a Let's Not Meet style, where it's actual people involved in the story. Some of them can get kind of boring. You know, I'm a 14-year-old girl. I walked down the street and some guy chased me. Okay, well, that's terrifying, but there's 20,000 other stories. So unfortunately, I'm not trying to take away from the seriousness of that situation. Just saying it repeats on that subreddit is all.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to give a shout out to Marv. He's watching live. Bom dia, Marv. I hope you have a great day. He is working on his comic book, The Sin Killer, which is in the horror genre. So
nice.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that one. That one.
Yeah, that's going to be good. So now I've got on your screenshot or the screen share, I've got your website here. And, I just wanted to kind of scroll down here for our audience to let them know where they can find you. You can see anybody who's tuning in and watching on YouTube. He's got his Twitter account, Raven's Dream YT. I'm assuming for YouTube, because we want to drive traffic over there. So make sure that you head over to his YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button as well. But here, welcome to the Nevermore. The Nevermore is a collective of all things as the Raven dreams. This includes things like my channel, my Anchor audio cast, live stream stories, and most importantly of all, the fans. Basically, the Nevermore is my world and your world entwined into one. Ooh. And so as we go in here, so this is your most recent Glitch in the Matrix, and I saw that up on your YouTube channel, which is really cool. And up here, guys, is a place where you can submit a story. So make sure that you head over there. And so now, what are you looking for? Are you looking for basically unsolicited in a way? Are you looking for a specific genre? Are you a little bit more inclined to have horror as well as true crime and things like that? What are you looking for as far as the story submissions?
So story submissions, typically anything that is a true story that could lean into that interesting or scary side of things. Like if you've experienced a glitch in the Matrix or a Mandela effect, as he said, those are good ones too. If it's a fiction story, I tend to lean more toward horror fiction and sci-fi. I probably won't narrate a story if you submit a romance story to me, just saying. That should have loaded a form. It looks like it didn't work though.
Yeah, it could be my browser. No, it's probably my browser.
So, I mean, like I said, I've narrated, I'm trying to think. There was a series I narrated that wasn't horror whatsoever. It would have been Anomaly, I think, is one recently that I did. It was a straight sci-fi series. So, I mean, really, I'm open to reading anything. If it's something I can't narrate for my channel, I would let the author know, but I'm open to reading things. Absolutely. So, I mean, I'll take anything really.
Now, like as a voiceover actor, do you have like an account on Fiverr? Are you taking jobs like that, or is this all kind of pro bono?
I don't have an account on Fiverr or anything like that at this point in time. I still feel that as a channel and voice actor narrator, I'm still too small as far as the community goes. That'll be a future thing for sure, though. Once I hit those higher numbers, if people want me to read something for them. Now, alternatively, if somebody has a channel and does listen to this and was like, hey, I would love to collab with him, I'm always open for collaborations. I will absolutely do a collab with anyone, as long as they're in good standing with the community, and that's basically my only requirement.
Okay, very good. Matthew, sorry, I stomped on you a little bit.
No, you're okay. I've learned, Meredith. I started writing them down now, so as we go along, so I don't forget them. But I wanted to know, with the stories that whether you've curated them or cultivated them yourself, or they've been submitted to you, and they're presented as a true story. What is the one story that has stuck out to you the most?
That is a really good question, because I've done a lot. I hate to say this, I would have to actually think on that, because there have been a lot of really good ones I've done. As far as like true stories go, I could easily answer that for the fiction stories, unfortunately.
Right.
Like two of my two favorite series in the fiction stories were the 13th Floor series and Raventown, both of which were basically sent to me. They sought me out for that. I'm trying to think, because like a lot of the true stories I do they're really good. Like as of late, the glitch ones I've been doing a lot more. Those ones really get to me. Like, because I mean, we all have those deja vu moments, or where something seems like it just completely changed reality. Like, how did that happen? So those ones really get to me, but I can't name one specifically that where I've been just absolutely blown away by it, just because
Right.
most of them are, I mean, even if it's a mundane event, it's an interesting story.
Now, have you ever witnessed a glitch?
Personally, I don't think so. Though, okay, I say I don't think so, but it's absolutely possible. Just because I've had those situations where I know things are a certain way and then they're just not.
Right.
Or I know something happened and I try to mention it to someone else, like my wife, and it just nothing. Like, doesn't remember it. So, I mean, potentially.
Right. Well, and you'll see why that I'm such a stickler for, or a lover of this phenomenon. Because I was introduced to it as Mandela effects. It was
Right.
Louis Anderson being alive for me, and I went looking, going, "What the hell?" And then all of a sudden, I found everything else. But shortly after that, I had two very, very big glitches occur in real time before my eyes, and luckily for me, I had witnesses, because they were so huge that I literally thought I was losing my mind. And well, one was, this will sound weird. My eyes, I can't show them this right now, but they're very dark brown. They're so dark, they're almost black. And there was one day that my wife, she was my fiance at the time, she looked at me and she said, "Your eyes are freaking green." And I was like, "You're on crack, lady. My eyes are not green." Sure enough, she shot a picture of it. You could see this green in it. And the sun was at a certain spot in our window. It was coming through. Well, 5 minutes after that, my eyes were back to brown and the sun had went back up. And this was in the evening. It goes down, not up. And so about 10 minutes later, it was back down to the spot where my eyes had been green. And so it was just really weird. Like I said, luckily, I had a witness on that. And then, of course, one of the biggest Mandela effects ever, the freaking Fruit Loops change. I witnessed that. I saw it flip back and forth. That was the one that just really made me think I was losing my fucking mind. Excuse me. But that was the one, because when it goes from FROOT to FRUIT and then back to FROOT, then there's something a little more going on in this world. And that's why I love these kind of channels, these kind of shows that you're doing, because, if you're clearly labeling them, yep, this is definitely fiction. And this one was submitted as they say that this is, legit. They witnessed this. I've witnessed so much. I'm not going to tell you that you're making something up or that you're wrong or that you're remembering wrong, because I don't know. I just don't know anymore.
Right. Well, we're gonna be right back. We're gonna take a little break and see you in about 30 seconds.
Check it out. MobileEdge.com has award-winning products with innovative features and contemporary, edgy designs that empower you to look sharp and travel smart with your mobile tech. Your beloved, not to mention expensive gaming gear and mobile tech devices are an extension of you, so give them the protection and style they deserve wherever you go. Find them at MobileEdge.com and protect your tech with Mobile Edge. Bring it on. Hey Geek Insiders, Mobile Edge has a special coupon code for our dedicated listeners. Get 25% off your Mobile Edge gear using coupon code GEEK25. That's GEEK25. Geek out.
And we're back with our special guest, Raven Adams, with As the Raven Dreams. Gee, I don't see any Edgar Allan Poe in that. But I wanted to give a shout out to John Celestri. He's tuning in. Marv Vesk, I don't even know how to say your last name, Marv, but I love you. Your comment, deja vu a lot. Feelings that something bad will happen. Yes, on Friday, something bad, but not really bad happens almost every Friday. Marv V, there's something about, what is that? What's the term I'm looking for? A self-fulfilling prophecy. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yep. If you think something bad's going to happen, something bad will happen. And I just wanted to back up just a second, Meredith. You played the Mobile Edge commercial bump there. I just got a care package from them with some cool little stuff in there. I still got something left over from last time too. And with Christmas coming up, folks, the boss man, Rhett, the owner of the site, has given us the go ahead. We're going to start some giveaways over the next few weeks. So make sure you watch GeekInsider.com for details, as well as, of course, the podcast on all the major platforms and our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Go ahead, Meredith.
Subscribe button. Do it now. Do it now. Do it. Raven, so I love the Genesis story. And you did kind of speak to your, just kind of being bored one day. But is this something that you are trying to develop into maybe a full-time gig, or is this kind of a hobby? I mean, where do you see yourself kind of like maybe the 1 year and the 5-year plan moving out?
It originally started as a hobby. Because at the time, whenever I started this, I was working. It was a part-time job, but I was actually an instructor for a college. So I did that, and then I was doing this off the side for fun. And then around March, I was challenged by a much larger creator to do a video a day. And I've pretty much done a video a day since then. I very rarely take a day off. So I'm trying very hard to turn it into something that becomes full-time. As you said, like my 1 year goal, which is next month, I would love to be at 1,500 subscribers. I'm at 14 something now, which I've been told, and I completely agree that within a year, that is insane.
That is.
But I think the hours and the schedule of every day has done a lot for the channel. So that's my goal for the 1 year. As far as 5, I'm not sure. Hopefully much larger, but I do intend to keep doing this as much as I can. So probably daily uploads forever.
Well, let me ask you this.
I know it feels that way.
I haven't had a chance to check out any of the shows, and we know that you've got the whole mystery kind of aspect going on. You're not on camera, but when you're reading these stories, are you showing any kinds of graphics? Are you what are you what's going on the YouTube channel?
Sure. So during the actual videos, I typically use my thumbnail as a background image. So I do the thumbnail as the background, I do the text of the thumbnail as a foreground, and typically some sort of effect or overlaid video behind the text, but in front of the background. So as far as like my standard stories go, it's a little more static just with that. Because honestly, whenever people listen to narrations, they don't really care what's on the screen half the time.
Right.
They want the voice, they want the audio. So I keep that a little plain. I have dabbled in some of the true crime, like the cold case stuff with the Raven Investigate series. I've done a little bit. That's going to be a secondary channel here very soon. But for those, I put visuals on the screen whenever I'm discussing the case to kind of give the watcher a bit of a better understanding of what's occurring, kind of establish that words with the what's happening on screen kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So for that, it's definitely necessary. But my various stories, not so much.
Now, are you on the major podcast platforms or podcast platforms at all yet?
I'm on Anchor, and that pushes it through Spotify. But for some reason, my Anchor account will not push to any other platform, and I have no idea why. It's supposed to auto push to like Apple and other ones that I don't remember, but the only one it pushes to is Spotify for some reason.
Well, that's a bummer.
A little bit.
I know from Meredith speaking, because her and Rhett took care of all the podcast stuff, but I know we waited forever for one or two platforms, and other ones, I think one we're still waiting on. Others would take weeks or even a month, and then other ones was pretty darn quick. But
there were some that kind of popped up. Definitely do a Google search every once in a while for your content. And I recommend that to anybody who's a content creator, just to see what's out there, because sometimes you might find your stuff on a site that you're like, why is that there? But as for podcasts, there have been a couple times where we didn't get any notification at all, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's our stream, there's our podcast. So
Amazon was the biggest one. we didn't get any notification that we had been approved. And then Meredith went looking one day and she's like, hey, we're on Amazon.
Nice.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. So you never know. You never know how that's going to be aggregated out. But everybody, if you're tuning in, make sure that you head over to the YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/C/as the Raven Dreams. For some reason, I just want to say as the world turns. I don't know why that's stuck in my head. You know, I am a child of the 70s and 80s. Okay, that's kind of just stuck in my head. It's As the Raven Dreams, guys. Make sure that you head over there and hit the subscribe button, and let's hit those milestones for them.
Yeah, definitely. So Marv, can you give Marv? I'm sitting there reading chat. And then we just had Marvy on the other night. But Raven, can you give us, you said you're recording a show a day or broadcasting a show a day. Mm-hmm. What are some of the stories coming up this week? Can you give any kind of a hint?
I actually can. Wednesday, which is tomorrow, I think, because today's Tuesday. Yes. I actually have a collection of deep web horror stories coming up, which are incredibly hard to find, but probably some of the most terrifying stories I've read, to be honest with you. Especially as an IT person, because I know that this stuff is very accurate. That's the thing. So,
right.
So that's coming up. I believe Friday. I actually have a full Excel spreadsheet calendar, so I can tell you everything for the rest of the month if you want.
I was just looking for a couple of days.
No, I know. Sorry, I'm just kidding. I get made fun of because I have spreadsheets. In this community,
I love spreadsheets.
Same. Friday is another glitch video. I'm trying to do those at least once a week, twice a week at most, because they're very, very popular and very well received. This weekend, part 2 of Winter Kingdom, which is a series I just started that was sent to me. And then next week, just a lot more scary stories, to be honest with you, some that were submitted, and another glitch video, because I'm going to keep doing those.
Very cool. Yeah.
Well, I mean, being active like that's a really tough schedule to maintain. So, for anybody who's not familiar with your show, what is the average time frame? Because a lot of people have the attention span of a gnat. So those 1 hour, 2 hour shows are not for everybody. What is the length of your average show?
An average video on my channel is around 20 minutes. As far as like true stories go, 20 minutes. I think the longest is probably 40 because it was a larger collection or just longer stories. If it's a fiction story, usually around 20, but some lately have been going closer to the hour mark, surprisingly. Those are fun, but they're also a strain. And I know a lot of people can't or don't have the time to sit there and watch, or listen to a narration for an hour. So that's fine. But mostly 20 minutes is a good target that I aim for with my channel, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I know, like, for my solo show, the Geeky, Cheeky, and Downright Freaky, where I do cover, the Mandela Effect and all that stuff.
Right.
I will spend, anywhere from 3 to 4 hours prep for that 1 hour show. You have a little bit more leeway as far as you're getting the material or a lot of the material, but I imagine that you still have to spend a lot of prep time. You're not just going on and dry reading these things, are you?
No, by no means. There's definitely prep time. I've learned a few tricks to kind of cut down my time. More so, like, since it is voice acting, a lot of narrators will read the entire story and then cut parts that they messed up. I started editing on the fly, so if I make a mistake, I pause, cut that, start over where I was. That cut a ton of time out of it. But I would say if I'm reading a 10-minute story, it's at least 20 to 30 minutes before that one story is finished, and that's not including the video, putting it together, rendering it out, uploading it, etc. So there's a lot more involved than just the quick parts that you read.
Okay, so you're not doing these shows live. You record them, edit them, put it all together, and then you're uploading a show a day.
Correct.
Gotcha. That's probably the smarter way to do things. But we like to live by the seat of our pants and go live.
For sure. I do live stream sometimes, but that's more of just to communicate with the audience style thing. But yeah, all the time, these are pre-recorded whenever I do my uploads. So,
gotcha.
That's fun. Now, I did want to ask you, do you attend Comic Cons or any events like that? Is this something that you might bring to one of those? And as far as maybe helping yourself to monetize this, moving forward?
Sure. That'd be something that'd be interesting. I haven't done this long enough to actually be like part of that kind of community. Here recently, though, there was a convention I did technically attend. It was the HorrorCon VR, which was put up by Mr. Creepypasta. It was over VR chat, and that was amazing. It was a complete virtual convention for all the horror narrators in the community, and it was just spectacularly done. So I did attend that, and I probably will attend that every year that he has it, because those are huge. As far as monetizing, I have my merch, and that's about it. I have a Patreon, and I have a handful of patrons that are greatly appreciated. But I think as far as like creating this more of like a monetized brand, I just kind of like it where it is. If it grows further and more people are willing to, I don't want to say part with their money, but that's where my mind went for some stupid reason, and push it my way, I will accept that. Support the channel is the better way to put that. But yes.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody say, no, don't pay me. No, no, don't do it.
No, I'm only in this for the love.
It's like an 80-20, right? 80% love, 20% because I want to get paid for it.
Yes.
Right. And like I said,
again,
mine were.
Yep. Go ahead, Matthew. Oh, I was going to say, anybody who's tuning in, the link to his Patreon is also on his website. So make sure you go to astheravendreams.com and give that some love. Follow him on all the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Head over to Patreon. If you can't, be a patron, you can share it. And that's something that I love about our community, is that they are great about sharing and networking and, giving love to the greater community that is theirs.
If you message me on Twitter, I'll send you a free sticker. That goes to anyone. I have a ton of stickers I bought.
Stickers. People love stickers. I mean, I'm mystified by that. I don't know. First of all, if I collect stickers, I don't want to stick them on anything because, stuff breaks.
And they're stuck.
Right. And then I'm like, my stickers. Yeah. So I don't even know. I don't know why that's such a big thing.
I don't know. No, sorry. What?
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Raven.
I was going to say, a lot of people started asking me if I had stickers I could send them or they could buy. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go buy from a print-on-demand website, like 100, 200 stickers. So and they don't cost anything to ship. It's like a stamp. So
right. Yeah, that's nice and good idea, man. Any kind of promotional stuff like that and free swag, people love it.
Right.
Marv V threw up in one of the rooms. He said, I follow a lot of people and I can't watch all their videos because they're too long. But 30 minutes is a good way to keep up with creators. And so he agrees. Those 20, 30-minute videos, it sounds like you're spot on. And that kind of brings us to the 30-minute mark, but we want to give you a chance to tell everybody where to follow you, and then we've got a question we always ask of all of our guests. Okay.
As far as following me goes, subscribing to the channel, like you said, youtube.com/c/astheravendreams. You can follow me on Twitter, which is ravensdreamyt. It's the same thing over on Instagram. I use Twitter and Instagram probably the most. I do have a Facebook page, but you don't have to follow me there if you don't want to. It's not as active. That's pretty much me. If you go to the astheravendreams.com website, the tab that says the Nevermore has links to everything that I'm involved in. Probably the quickest way to find everything about me.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Now, I did notice the coffee link over there. Do you find that coffee is easier, or do you like Patreon better?
Coffee is definitely easier for people who don't want to donate monthly, which I totally understand, but it doesn't get anywhere near as much traffic as Patreon, which is really interesting. It seems if people want to support a channel, they typically want to do so consistently.
Interesting. Okay, and I'm going to pass that back to Matthew for the final question that we ask all our guests.
Yep, and this one is one of these days we're going to put together a book of all this, because we've asked a couple of hundred people now by now. But Raven, the question we always ask is, if you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I would say start this channel about 5 to 6 years prior. Be Mr. Creepypasta's competition. Because those guys that have been doing this for 5 years have ridiculous numbers.
Right. And they're probably making ridiculous bank.
Yes.
Well, Raven, we definitely appreciate you joining us. I'm going to be
Absolutely.
checking out the channel for sure. It sounds like right up my alley. And then, we just had a little Halloween indie event. We called it Crypt Week. That's where
Mhm.
we had Charles Band. We had some folks, writers and directors from Shudder, and we had
Nice.
the Dead Enders on, which they are a web series, and that's something that we will do again next year, and maybe even before Halloween, because Meredith and I just love the supernatural and horror
Right.
and all that good stuff, and so we'll definitely have to keep you in mind, man. We'd love to have you come back for one of those indie events.
I would love to come back. Please shoot me a message anytime.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
All
All
right.
right. Yep. Go ahead, Matthew.
No, I was going to say bye. Go for it. Take us home, Meredith. Take us home.
All right, we're going home, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is Geek Speak with Matthew Harris and Meredith Loughran. Our special guest today was Raven Adams as the Raven Dreams. Make sure that you head over to his YouTube channel and his website. Hit the subscribe button. Follow him everywhere. Don't be a creepy stalker, but I'm sure he'd be happy to have your. Go ahead, be a creepy stalker. It's okay. Just don't peek in his windows, all right? I think that's going to be my term. It's like, be a creepy stalker. Just don't peek in the windows. And on that note, you guys have a great day. We'll see you the next time on Geek Speak.
Thank you.
And we are, you know what? And don't go away, Raven. We're going to talk to you after we hit the end button here.
You're good.
And
I'm not going anywhere.
Go. At GeekInsider, we foster relationships with those in the geek sphere so we can give our audience the insider view of entertainment, tech, and more.